4, 3, 2, 1. KenCast.
Hey everyone, welcome to KenCast. I'm Ken Cole. I hope you're having a great Saturday. I hope you had a great week. For everyone who's joining us, who watched us last week on our very special Independence Day live stream, where we celebrated the character of Terry Silver and why he's great and why he might perhaps be a great president, all those great things. Definitely check out that live stream if you get a chance. But welcome to this week, where we're going to continue our Terry Silver appreciation by examining the character and maybe predicting what might happen in Cobra Kai Season 5. And I'd just like to point out before we get going, this live stream is in no way supported or paid for by Terry Silver or any of his friends or subsidiaries or associates. This is all completely truthful opinion and to hopefully convince you that we are fair and fair and impartial in our examination of Terry Silver. I've brought on a very special guest, an esteemed filmmaker, someone who, through his own background, came to appreciate Terry Silver for who he is. So not only is he a movie enthusiast, an expert, and filmmaker, he's also a Terry Silver fan and expert. And so you've seen him before. He's appeared before, and I'm very happy to reintroduce Dave Srock. Dave, how are you?
I'm very good, Ken, now that I'm here with you.
Wonderful. Well, it's great to have you here, Dave. And I just, are you willing to back me up in saying that every opinion that we share today is completely fair from our hearts? It's in no way coerced by any outside sources or money.
I could say that's true, but I don't know if I completely believe it. I think that there's probably, I think you have a conspiracy on your hands here with this YouTube channel, and I think it's possible that your work with Terry Silver is now making me an accomplice as well. So I feel like I'm walking on thin ice with you a little bit.
Okay. Well, thank you for being honest, and we'll change the subject quickly. All right, everyone. Guys, I want to take a second to say hello to all of you. Darius, Terry Silver is goated. Absolutely. Luce, good to see you. Darian, when do you think we'll get another teaser trailer? That's a good question. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe a month out, Dave?
It's got to be pretty soon, I would think. We're not too far away.
Yeah, it's really last year, the marketing machine, it seemed like it started in June and went for like 6 months, but now it's been pretty quiet this year. Ghost Fixer, how's it going? How you doing? Great to see you. Aurelio, hi Ken, love your analysis. Thank you so much. Hopefully you'll get some fun analysis from Dave and myself today. Marco's already calling it. Terry will rule Season 5. I sure hope you're right. Alex, hi Ken, your analysis is always the best. Thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciate it. Good to see Bryce Productions again. How you doing? George says, hey, Ken, it's Party Cat from the last KenCast. Nice. I just changed my name on YouTube. By the way, a huge fan of yours. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And it's great to see you. Strike First Media. Cody, how's it going? Great to see you. Great to see you, Rabana. Aaron, one day you'll say my name correctly. Tell us how you say your name so everyone knows how you pronounce it, but it's always fun listening to you. I don't know who he is, but hello to him too. Well, by the end of today, you will definitely know who Dave Srock is. Frenchie says, what's up, Dave?
What's up, Frenchie?
Hello from France. Great. Guys, it's so exciting to see all this appreciation for Cobra Kai, Terry Silver from around the world. And we're going to dive into our discussion, analysis, predictions of what Terry Silver might be up to in Season 5. But of course, if you've been watching the show, you know that first we want to catch up with the news.
KenCast News.
All right. Yeah,
is it the same one every time, or do you make new ones?
I've been lazy. It's the same one every time. Yeah, okay. I have to hire top talent to do the voiceover, and so it gets expensive to keep doing new ones.
I figure, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so Dave, we do have some news. We've got a new video game. Okay, everyone who's a fan of Cobra Kai or Terry Silver, maybe you've played the original Cobra Kai video game. I don't know how many of you have played this game, but it's like a really traditional beat 'em up type game, and it's getting a sequel. And Dave, you were talking about earlier that this game really reminds you of a recent game that came out.
Yeah, it seems like a classic arcade beat 'em up type kind of game, and I just played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge, which was a lot of fun. So it's actually, I think that game is making me say I need to jump in on these Cobra Kai games and see what's up.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I've played the first one. It's actually a lot of fun. They had some of the voice talent from the show. They really brought in a lot of the characters, and it's like a narrative story, but it's a beat 'em up. I was actually really impressed with what they put out, and I'm excited to see the second one. And I wanted to pull this up. I don't know if everyone can see it. This is like the listing, the pre-order listing on Best Buy. You can pre-order it now, but this is what it says about the game. And Dave, you tell me, as a longtime gamer, you tell me what you think. So there's a story mode. So it's a beat 'em up adventure gameplay, single and multiplayer. Tournament mode allows you to duke it out between friends and rivals. And I saw somewhere else that tournament mode can be an online mode too. You get 28 playable characters.
That's pretty good.
Across all 3 dojos. So that's Miyagi-Do, Cobra Kai, and Eagle Fang, I guess, right?
Must be, yeah.
Okay. Do you think one of those characters is Terry Silver?
God, I really, really hope so, because you never could have thought years ago watching Karate Kid 3 that we would see him in a video game one day. If you can't play as him, he at least needs to make an appearance as a boss battle or something. I think it would be a real big slight to the great Terry Silver.
Yeah, I agree. And now that you said that, the idea of Terry Silver being in a video game, it seems like it's meant to be. The character of Terry Silver should be in a video game.
Right. Well, I would like to play an RPG type game of Terry Silver where I just kind of drive around town and smoke cigars and make shady business deals and build up my character as I go. So, I mean, the room is there.
I would love that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So if anyone is a game developer who might be associated with the Cobra Kai license, I'm going to repeat what Dave just said. If we could get a Terry Silver RPG where he's doing all these Terry things and we get to see what, and make decisions as Terry, smoke cigars, that would be incredible.
Yep.
Let's see. So look at this. We've got 16 locations, manager dojo, classic mode, and voice acting. Voices from the cast of the show provide a realistic gaming experience. Okay. So if Terry Silver is potentially a character in this, Thomas Ian Griffith could potentially be voicing him in this video game.
I mean, he would have to be. I think that's like the smart decision they made by putting the first game out was like, we're not going to do this unless we get some real voices. So if he's in it, I mean, that's it. We're game on. Yeah,
I totally agree. Yeah, I can't wait. So guys, you can pre-order that now. I think it's out September 30th or something. So after season 5 premieres. Peter from Cobra Kai Companion Podcast says, "Hey, I'm happy to lend my voice, except it's not a lot of bass behind it." Hey, Peter, regardless, you got a great voice, and it's amazing what we can do in post-production. We can make you sound like very high-pitched or like Optimus Prime. Absolutely. Yes, Denise, hi, Ken. We follow each other on Twitter. Terry Silver's my favorite character. He totally stole the show. I really want to see his development in season 5. He's interesting to me from a psychological point of view as well. And Dave, you'd probably agree with that.
Oh, absolutely. The psychological game is actually probably more interesting to me than his fighting game, which is also on point.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so for our next bit of news, there's a new book that's coming out. It was announced. It's the Kick-Ass Book of Cobra Kai, an official behind-the-scenes companion. So it looks like the hardcover version is $30. You can pre-order it now. I have a link in the description if you want to pre-order it. And then there's also a Kindle version. And so, Dave, as a movie fan and filmmaker, did you ever? I know I used to enjoy getting like the behind-the-scenes books, like on movies and TV shows. Did you enjoy getting those throughout your life at all?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime I could see any kind of behind the scenes of anything was interesting to me. But I think, in the 90s, that you either had to watch Entertainment Tonight or hopefully get your hands on one of these special books for whatever movie you were interested in. I would say probably the biggest at the time was Jurassic Park. Like anything I could see of Jurassic Park back in the day. How did they make this? What was the setups like, and what was the cast even just doing in between? Did they hang out or whatever? And I think in today's era, a lot of that's gone because of the internet. But I think it's nice that they're putting this out, because it's good to see what do the people of the show think is the best stuff to show you, and not just somebody online.
That's a really good point. And like as a viewer, as a fan of the show, Dave, and as someone who's a filmmaker, what kind of insight would you want from a book like this about Cobra Kai? Is there something about the production of Cobra Kai that you're curious about, that you'd be interested to see, how they did that in production, how they accomplished that?
For me, I guess, and this is also from seeing the live Cobra Kai show that we saw together. They spoke about that they don't have a lot of time to shoot the show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very fascinating to me, just because there are so many characters. They all have fight scenes and they all have to intertwine at some point. And I would love to just know what kind of work goes into a day-to-day shooting Cobra Kai. How much can they actually rip out and film in a day, because they're filming a whole season of Karate Kid. And when you've got stunts and all that stuff mixed in together, that's a tough production to deal with. And I think that they do such a great job that I would just love to know, how does the machine actually get from A to B day to day?
Yeah, I agree. I think Josh Heald said something like, they basically have the budget of a show where people just kind of sit around on couches and talk to each other, but they somehow have to make this show with action and everything like that. So yeah, I know I'd be really interested to see what is the machine like? How does this happen? Okay. Also, Dave is a filmmaker. So everyone watching who's being introduced to Dave right now, Dave, you're your own filmmaker. I mean, your stuff has been in film festivals. It's won awards. And people can find your stuff at Mama Out of Bullets. And I've got the link in the description, mamaoutofbullets.com. And if you could take us, I know this might be tough, but if you could take a second to sort of describe your type of work and the type of things you like to do. Tell us about your work.
Sure. So all the movies I've made are made with super close friends of mine who we all have similar interests. That always goes a long way, but we're all interested in doing dark humor, strange comedy, stuff that maybe when you're watching it for the start of it, you're not even sure what exactly it is that you're watching. Trying to subvert some expectations maybe, but at the end of the day, we just like to have fun. So if you're into dark humor and something that's just, hey, that was fun, that's really what I'm interested in at the end of the day, is making the audience say, I had a fun time watching that.
Oh, absolutely. And you've done actually a lot of shorts on a lot of fun different topics. And if people go to mamaoutofbullets.com, you have your YouTube channel as well. I mean, some ones that jump to mind right now are Ruffalo, Guys Weekend, Still Holds Up, which with Halloween's coming up soon as a holiday, and so it might that's a good one to watch around Halloween time too. So you've done all this great work. Everyone check out Dave's work, mamaoutofbullets.com. Dave is so talented, in fact, that I asked him to help me out on a special project called Cobra Cole.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, so if you guys haven't seen Cobra Cole, this is kind of, Dave was talking earlier about the conspiracy, maybe Terry Silver's paying me off, that type of thing. But we know that's not true. But if you're curious about if I'm somehow involved with Terry Silver, or if I'm related to the character of Tom Cole on Cobra Kai, you can see him right there. That's David Shatra, the actor who plays Cobra Cole on Cobra Kai. This is a short film that explores those questions. So if you're a fan of Cobra Kai, you're going to get a kick out of seeing Cobra Cole. And Dave was the director of photography. He is the reason why it looks so good. And Dave, I have to say that is a comment I hear all the time, that it just looks great. And so thank you, Dave, for joining us on this production. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Now, everyone, I don't think anyone has seen this before. This is a behind the scenes photo. We're on set shooting Cobra Cole, and Dave is doing his director of photography, cinematographer thing. So there you go, Dave. That's
and David Shatra's shorts are fantastic as well.
They are. If anyone has seen this or is going to go watch this, I've got a link in the description. If you can see what his shorts have on them, let us know. It's kind of fun. So anyway, Cobra Cole, everyone check it out in the description. It's super fun. And I just want to point out, Wildman, great to have you watching, Wildman. Thank you so much for the super chat. Guys, I love super chats. It really helps this channel get supported. It allows us to do these streams. The software that we use to interact with you guys, there is a monthly fee and all that kind of stuff. So you don't have to contribute, but if you're able to with the super chat, that is amazing. And thank you so much. So Wildman says Mike Barnes versus Johnny Lawrence. That's my prediction. All right, Dave. So this is like not a Terry Silver prediction necessarily, but I think he's saying that this could be sort of the big fight of the season. What do you think?
I like that matchup. I definitely think that fits. Because I do believe that Terry Silver has other people he has to fight. So these two squaring off, I think it makes the most sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that this is a matchup people have been wanting forever. Everyone's wondered who's better, Mike Barnes or Johnny Lawrence, because Mike Barnes is sort of like this really sort of angry, ruthless version of Johnny Lawrence, in Karate Kid 3. So I know I would love to see this. So Wildman, thank you. Thank you for the prediction. We will watch with interest to see if it comes true. Peter from Cobra Kai Companion says, I enjoy his work on Ken Coke too. Cole, even. Interesting. And Peter, being such an expert on Cobra Kai, I think that might be a reference to the fact that Terry Silver struggled at one time with cocaine. It happens. Rich and powerful people, Dave, it's like if you work hard, you're under a lot of stress, you have a ton of money. Sometimes people kind of fall into it, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
It was the 80s, early 90s, That just as Terry said, he got a little into it, but that's all right.
It's okay. He's out, right? Maybe.
He might be going back. We do know from season 4 he's kind of got a drinking problem maybe now.
Right. Yes. Yes. Lisa says, hello, Ken and Dave. Hey, Lisa.
Hello,
good to
Lisa.
see you guys. Okay, here's another prediction, and we'll get into our formal prediction discussion pretty soon. Silver will visit Kreese in prison. I love and want that. Yes. What do you think, Dave?
Oh, I think they will meet in prison, but I think they are going to have a big meeting towards the end of the season. That's what I think.
I see. Would this? Okay. Well, actually, you know what? Why don't we just jump into our discussion?
KenCast discussion.
There it
All
is.
right, guys, here we go. Okay, so everyone, I see the comments. They're rolling in. Thank you. Please keep sending us your thoughts and predictions for season 5. We're going to be diving into this right now. Before I get going, we're going to be talking about Terry Silver. And for all of you who are meeting Dave for the first time, Dave, explain to us, how did you first get turned on to Terry Silver or become aware of Terry Silver? What is it about Terry Silver that appealed to you?
Sure. Karate Kid 3 was the only Karate Kid movie I owned as a kid. So in a way, that was the one I just had on repeat all the time, watching a lot of Terry Silver. Um, Revisited that VHS tape when I was in high school with my best friend. And that was when it really clicked for us that Terry Silver is maybe the greatest character to ever be in any movie ever. And that started to be something we just said as fact. And, years and years and years of quoting him went by until Cobra Kai comes out and they start mentioning him in season 1. I think they mention him, right?
Yes, season 1.
Yeah, and that was kind of the beginning of like, oh my God, are they really bringing him back? Is this really going to happen? Sure enough, we got it, and it happened. So I feel like it's been a lifelong buildup to this Cobra Kai show of loving this character. And what I love that they've done is they've really opened my eyes to see that so many people love Terry Silver and always did. It was not a truly hated movie when it came out, actually. A lot of people like myself grew up loving it. And now we're all getting the rewards of that. They're saying, here, this is for you, and we appreciate you. And I think they've just done a fantastic job on delivering the Terry goods.
Yeah, absolutely. And for everyone who's watching this that is like, I don't even know who Terry Silver is. I've never seen Karate Kid 3. I haven't watched Cobra Kai yet, and you should do those things. But can you give us what are the traits of Terry Silver that you find so amazing that you and your friends would say this is the greatest movie character of all time?
One word, slick. The guy is slick. Like nothing gets past him. Well, he does make a couple mistakes. We'll give him a couple, but everything he says is for his manipulation schemes. And I think once you open that door to watching a character where I'm trying to think of another show where a character is like this, but like where everything they say, you're like, oh, this guy, he's got a plan. He's one step ahead of everybody else. And as we saw in season 4 of Cobra Kai, I mean, he pretty much rigged the tournament. So he's always one step ahead of everybody while being very cool and slick at the same time. So he's the ultimate cool bad guy.
Right. Okay. So obviously you've got these qualities in Terry Silver and Karate Kid 3. As you mentioned, you waited kind of a lifetime, and we finally got the return of Terry Silver in Cobra Kai season 4. So what were your impressions? What did you think, I guess, of season 4? And what did you think of Terry's return?
It was a little bit unexpected that he started off kind of soft, that he had changed. Obviously you figure that they're gonna make him go the other way. I think what I was surprised about, that maybe we can talk about this, is it almost seemed like he had kind of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing going on in his mind, where like, I'm not evil, but I am evil. And then eventually once he put the ponytail back, like a whole other demon took over him. And that's maybe something I couldn't have predicted, that they were going to play that inner psychology of him, like flipping the evil man switch, because I assumed he was always just all powerful and evil all the time. So I'll give them credit again for surprising me in a way,
Right. I know that it's a really interesting question. And I did a video called "Is Terry Silver a Psychopath?" And in that, I was trying to kind of harmonize all these things, like his behavior in Karate Kid 3 and the different versions of him that we see in Cobra Kai season 4. So in that, like, if you want to go into the idea, if you believe that he could be a clinical psychopath, as defined by Dr. Robert Hare, not a psycho and not, this is like a clinical condition. If he's a psychopath, then potentially all that nice guy stuff is, it's a front. It's a bit of a ruse. It's he would be a con man. So he was soft, or he appeared soft just to suit his own purposes, but deep down, it was always the same Terry Silver. And so I don't know if that's true. That's a version that interests me because I love the idea of Terry always being in control and doing things for a specific reason, that he's always going to have that core where he wants world domination and he just wants to do what he wants to do. But so I don't know. Everyone check out that video if you haven't seen it. But yeah, it's kind of like it was a very interesting approach though. I like what you're saying about like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing, where it's almost like he's got sort of that split where he's doing okay, and then he seems to kind of snap. And yeah, it's really kind of fascinating, and I think that will come up perhaps in our discussions of what we might think will happen in season 5 as well. Hey guys, I'm seeing all your comments. Let's see. We've got George says Terry Silver is literally going to turn Johnny into ashes in season 5. Yeah. Do you have a quick prediction on if there's a rematch between Terry Silver and Johnny?
I feel like since we're bringing Chosen back into the mix this next season, that whatever rematch happens will bring those two together, Johnny, because it seems nice to have the villain of Karate Kid 1 and Karate Kid 2 team up together. Right. So that would be my prediction, is that we'll see Johnny and Chosen team up to go against either Terry or whoever Terry's goons turned out to be.
That's a fascinating thought, and it made me think of this possibility. Do you think there will be a point if they bring back Mike Barnes where Johnny, Chosen, and Mike Barnes would all team up against whoever's running Cobra Kai? Do you think that's possible?
It would be very possible and cool, I think. I guess it just is going to depend on if Mike Barnes is coming back, what side is he falling on? Or are they going to give him an arc in that he starts on Terry's side and switches over?
Right. Let's see. We've got, lots of great comments. Daniel says, rewatching Cobra Kai for the 5th time now. I really like Johnny Lawrence and Cobra Kai, and I wish for more depth and sentiment for the bad guys. You quote unquote bad guys. Yeah, absolutely. I know I feel that way. Especially about Terry Silver. I understand it's not the Terry Silver show, but I always want more Terry Silver and kind of more time with him.
It should be.
Yes, it should be. Sebastian says Terry's going to be so diabolical in season 5. The fire specialist says season 5 prediction: Terry Silver will get Sam, Tori, Amanda, Piper, Carmen, Moon, and Yasmin pregnant. That would be.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Well, the thing is, if you go by what people say, I mean, he could be the father of multiple characters on the show already. So, I know that was kind of the joke. Do you think Terry Silver is the father of anyone on the show?
I hope not, just because we don't need to make it that close tight, I think, with all the characters. But
right.
Obviously, I think with other franchises where it seems to turn out everybody's related, right, that's where people's minds are going to go. Yes,
indeed. Guys, amazing comments. Cobra Edit says, hopefully he burns down Miyagi Dojo in finale. Hey, did you know, by the way, that in the original draft, I should do a video on this. I have the original draft of Karate Kid 3, the original script written by another screenwriter. It's pretty wild, but it ends with Mr. Miyagi is trapped it's locked in his house, and Dutch is burning everything to the ground, and he is trying to burn Miyagi alive in his own house. That was in the original draft of Karate Kid 3. So
I mean, they almost went there a little bit still. They wrecked the bonsai shop, I guess, but
right. Yeah, so we'll see. That might happen. Robana says, will Terry train Anthony? Someone will definitely be training him in season 5, though. So, right, this is kind of an idea that a lot of people have, that Anthony and or Sam might actually go over to the Cobra Kai side. What do you think of that, Dave?
I don't know if I see that happening. I feel like you know, we've already kind of explored that a little bit in the last season, maybe, just in terms of Eagle Fang mixing with Miyagi-Do. But I do think there is a redemption coming for Cobra Kai.
Right. Right. Now, do you think that redemption is going to be through John Kreese?
Yes, I do believe. I guess if we're saying prediction wise, I believe that in some way or another, I don't know whether it's a fight or however, John Kreese will spare mercy on Terry Silver.
Okay.
So the no mercy thing, he will finally back off on that.
Interesting. Do you think that would lead Terry Silver to change his ways at all?
I probably not. I feel like whatever it is, it's the nail in the coffin for Terry. I don't think they're going to kill him off, but if he's arrested or whatever his demise is, I think Kreese is going to let him know, I'm sparing you, and you know that now, and I'm showing you mercy, and I made you. Like I was original Cobra Kai, so I'm above you, even though I don't agree with all that. I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, okay, so let's back up a second and just talk. We've got a lot of great comments. People have been sending in what they think. Dave, let's talk about what you think. So where we left off, Terry Silver had just bribed the tournament ref so he could win. And it looks like he's going to expand his Cobra Kai dojo now to multiple locations, similar to what he wanted to do at the end of Karate Kid 3. So at this point, how do you see this playing out for Terry in season 5?
Well, I think one thing I'm still wondering is, and this is the same thing I've been wondering since watching Karate Kid 3, is, you know, he's always had his dream of running the Valley with his dojos. I've lived in the Valley now for about 10 years, and I'm still trying to wonder how this is a great money-making scheme, even in real estate. But however the business is going to be successful, if there's one person who can pull it off, it's Terry Silver. But where is that business going? That's probably my biggest question, is how are they gaining followers or gaining people to come and train, and where's this boom of karate coming from? I don't know, but that would be him creating it, I guess.
Right. So you're saying in real life, living in the Valley yourself, you haven't seen evidence of karate being this, like, on the level of high school football in Texas or something like that?
Not yet. And I will say, specifically in North Hollywood, I drive by a martial arts dojo all the time where, you know, the sign is kind of falling down, and I always think, like, is that what Terry Silver wants? Is that building right there? I guess, but
right.
He knows something we don't, so that's why I can't criticize him. His plan, he knows one step ahead of what I know.
Okay. So do you think he'll be successful?
I think he will be successful right out of the gate. I think they're going to open up the season with him already established and planted in and making money. And as I saw you kind of break down in the trailer discussion, it looks like there's some kind of plan from Miyagi-Do to rival the competition in terms of dojos.
Right. Kind of like Daniel's trying to get out of this gentleman's agreement by bringing in Chosen, maybe, who's going to kind of open up a rival dojo that's not technically Miyagi-Do.
I think so. I mean, that's how I would do it if I were them. So,
right. Let's see. We've got so many great comments here. Sasha says Terry Silver should grab the bonsai tree from Karate Kid 3 and taunt Daniel. Hassan says,
a long way down.
Yeah, it is. Hassan says, will Terry Silver make a new Quicksilver method for Cobra Kai students, just like he used for Daniel? So this is an interesting question, Dave. Do you have any opinions or insight on whether we're going to see a new Quicksilver method?
Oh, I hope so. That's one thing we didn't get in the last season that that we're certainly going to get more of this next season, but not enough Terry training. Like he was kind of always on the side, and, you know, Kreese was giving him the stink eye, don't run my class, and Terry's giving him, you know, Also, that was a surprise for me. I didn't see that they were going to be fighting each other like that early on, and I enjoyed that. That was like, okay, let's plant a rivalry between the two villains right away. So I thought that was a really good move. But in terms of the Quicksilver method, I mean, I never made it, but we wanted to make shirts in high school that had the Quicksilver method rules listed on them. So they
Wow.
absolutely have to bring it in for season 5.
Yes, that's interesting. Well, you know, for everyone who's seen the trailer so far, there is that brief section where it looks like Tori, you know, they line that up with the Quicksilver method. Tori's like punching some kind of dummy, where the new sensei, Kim Da-eun, seems to be training her, which that, I mean, okay, you're a Terry Silver fan, but what do you think of the possibility that Kim Da-eun is related to Kim Sun-young, the teacher, the master of Terry Silver, and that she's coming in to help?
I mean, I think you're spot on with that prediction. I think that's got to be what they're going for, because watching Karate Kid 3 in high school, we used to always fantasize about who trained Terry. Like, he says it clearly when they're in the backyard, but what was going on there and how did he become the way he is? And
Right.
I think they've done a great job over multiple seasons building up the history of Kreese and Terry in their younger years. I think that's been a really cool part of the show that they've done well, and that's helping flush out all these characters more.
Do you think, just from a filmmaking perspective, do you think that would make its own great series? A young Kreese and Silver in the military, and then, I mean, what do you think of that?
I mean, again, we used to fantasize about a whole Vietnam movie of just the two of them. And the fact that they were in Vietnam, I was like, oh my gosh, my dreams are being answered right now. So would I take a whole series on it? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. Now, Ben Matella says, I'm starting to think Mike Barnes might be a cliffhanger for season 6. Do you have any sense? Because obviously you're a big fan of Karate Kid 3, Dave. Mike Barnes. A lot of people are huge Mike Barnes fans. I mean, obviously we're Terry Silver fans, but Mike Barnes fans too. What do you think his involvement will be in season 5, if he's going to be there at all?
Well, I believe he's showing up, and if he fights as hard as he negotiates, he's going to be deep in the scheme of everything. So I think, are we going to see him episode 1? Probably not, but I believe he's coming back. I'll be disappointed if he's not. If he's a teaser, I'll think that we maybe missed the full Karate Kid 3 throwback. You know, each season is kind of focused on a movie a little bit.
Right.
And Karate Kid 3 is really getting 2 seasons in a way. So
right.
I think it's time to, we already built up the whole bringing back Terry. So it's time to bring him back in early, I think.
Right. And those of you who've been following, check out my interview with William Christopher Ford, who played Dennis in Karate Kid 3. Dave, do you think we would see Snake and Dennis again in the Cobra Kai series, or do you think Terry's moved on?
I would love to see them come back. You know, the thing I always think about is, not only was Mike Barnes a great side character of Terry Silver in a way, you know, having Snake and Dennis, it always made me wonder, what were they doing in LA in their time other than bullying Daniel LaRusso? Because I'm sure they were young and having a good time. So I could do a whole flashback of Mike Barnes as a young guy, would be a lot of fun too. But
yeah,
in a way, without Snake and Dennis, Mike Barnes is left empty, I think. Again, you got to bring the whole Karate Kid 3 picture back, I think.
Yeah. I'd be on board with that. Leo gives a theory. Silver's fighting style is a combination of brutal aggression and lethal precision. Yeah, I think that's a great point. I might even add to that and say that superior intelligence is also a factor there. Like, he's very intelligent. Yeah. He's very good at outsmarting his enemies.
I would also add that he uses excessive force often. So.
Indeed. I love that reference. For everyone who doesn't know, Thomas Ian Griffith starred and wrote and produced a movie called Excessive Force. We did a previous KenCast on that. Definitely check that out if you want to learn about our affection for the movie Excessive Force. So great reference. Let's see. We've got, oh my goodness. Bryce Production says, you should make a video talking about the original ending of Karate Kid 3 with Mr. Miyagi and Dutch. Yeah. Actually, what I was going to do, and you guys let me know if you like this idea, I was actually going to sort of like tell the story, kind of like paraphrase the story of the original Karate Kid 3 in a video. You know, because the only way you can get it is if you pay for the script, and then you have to kind of like read through the script. And some people don't like reading screenplays and things like that. But I was thinking of doing that just so you guys could see how just out there Karate Kid 3 would have been. I mean, it was about, just to tell you guys, we did have Johnny Lawrence coming back. We had basically Daniel and Johnny. Johnny's kind of come over to the good side, and then you have the original Cobras. Dutch is still with Kreese, and he's just like off the rails crazy. But at the same time, they're trying to clean up the gang problem in Los Angeles. And so there is a scene where gang members are training with Miyagi-Do, and they're doing like a Miyagi-Do rap. And then there's a montage where the former gang members are literally cleaning up the streets of Los Angeles.
I see. Maybe we need to hire somebody to storyboard that script out, just so that we can enjoy it in a unique way.
I agree. If anyone is watching this, that's like a storyboard artist that is interested in doing something like that, definitely either contact me kind of in my about on my page, or just leave a comment. That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. Aaron says, talking Star Wars in season 1, Johnny brought back Cobra Kai legally. So Kreese and Silver enjoyed the fruits Johnny worked hard for. Yeah, I mean, Johnny should be kind of resentful. I mean, and that was another thing too. Johnny really put himself on the line with the All Valley Committee to get Cobra Kai back into the tournament. But for some reason, they just seem to allow Kreese and Silver as senseis of Cobra Kai, even though their actions were the ones that got the whole thing banned. Like the reason why the reason why they allowed Cobra Kai back in was because of Johnny, and he convinced them that he was different. It was a different Cobra Kai. So yeah, I could totally see that. Let's see, talking Star Wars. Hang on. There was, super chat. Thank you. Thank you guys for the super chat. Love the super chats. They help keep this channel going. I'm curious who Silver's talking to at the end of the trailer, perhaps chosen speaking of the fire part. So I think, Dave, he's referencing the moment where Terry Silver looks like he's in some kind of steam room with a towel around his neck, and he's saying, "I told you not to play with fire." And who do you think he's talking to there, Dave?
I could be wrong, but I thought he was talking to Daniel. I had assumed that, we've seen that Daniel is actually just as tough as all the other characters, really. He'll stand up to everybody. So my guess would be it's him calling him to say, like, you need to back down from whatever's happening. But is there somebody else that somebody's thinking? Because that's intriguing me.
Yeah, I know. I would agree. It seems like he's talking to Daniel. And I guessed in the trailer breakdown that a lot of this discussion between Terry Silver and Daniel is taking place at the Encino Oaks Country Club. And that steamer might be at the Encino Oaks Country Club. And which would
I just love saying the Encino Oaks Country Club.
Indeed, it's fun. And I honestly, I love that idea of Terry Silver getting in everyone's heads. Like he's invading Daniel's social spaces. Like he's now probably going to be a prominent member of this country club. And, just basically taking everything away from Daniel. I hope so. Like even Daniel's social life, everything. I don't know. I love that idea, but I agree. I think it's probably Daniel. Let us know in the chat if you think he's talking to someone else when he's saying, "I told you not to play with fire." Leo, Miyagi-Do Jedi, Cobra Kai Sith, Eagle Fang, Gray Jedi. Very interesting. Thank you. And I'm glad you brought this up. I'm still, it's a big video I'm working on, kind of that has to do with Star Wars and Cobra Kai. So guys, if you enjoy Star Wars, watch out for that video coming up. Okay, so how do you think, Sasha says, how do you think Amanda will interact with Silver? I don't know, Dave. How do you think Amanda will act with Terry Silver?
I mean, you haven't seen her back down really either. So I think, again, like nobody's going to put up that they're afraid of Silver. And I think even in season 4, nobody was truly afraid of him. And maybe that's why they screwed up. They should have been afraid of him, that he was already paying off the referee. They were never going to win that tournament to begin with. So I think at the end of the day, she's going to butt same heads that she always has.
Right. Also, Mario says, "Hi, Mr. Schrock."
Hello, Mario.
Good to get your guys' comments on these things. So Dave, bring it back to Terry Silver for season 5. You kind of brought up this idea of like, you see it going a certain way. That's not necessarily the way you'd want it to go. Can you maybe give us your predictions with Terry Silver of what you think will happen, but given your deep fandom for the character, how you would like to see it play out, but you don't think it will go that way?
Well, what I would like to see happen is if Terry Silver is going to lose, if we're saying he has to lose, which again, I don't want him to lose. I would be happy if he controlled all the dojos in all of Los Angeles, not just the Valley, which again, that brings up my point of I've never understood why he only cared about the Valley. Like there's all of LA, like go for it, man. Like it's right. It's a big town. But I'm saying that he has to lose. We're saying the villain has to lose, I guess. What I would like to have happen in that scenario would be actually just have him fight to the death and go all out, because he's always been a madman. So why not? But what I think what will happen is that his rivalry with Kreese will end with Kreese on top, and Kreese saying, he's not going to say I'm showing you mercy, but in the scene, maybe we will see that, like, you know what, Kreese could have ended him right here, but he let him be. And it would be the opposite of what he did to the commander in Vietnam, who he did let fall into the pit when they were fighting.
Right.
I'm going to say Terry and Kreese will be in a scenario similar to that, maybe, whatever that means. And Kreese will help him, but say, hey, I've won, but I showed you mercy. So he's changed, Terry's lost. That's what I think will be the end of Terry Silver.
Gosh. Now, the end, do you mean like the permanent end? Like, do you like he's gone? Like, not necessarily dead, but gone from the series?
I think possibly. And then maybe if there's a season 6, he'll maybe have a cameo from prison or wherever they choose to put him. But I feel like Terry's arc will wrap up this season. That's my guess.
Yeah. I think you could be right. I don't want that to be the case. Like, I agree with you. I want Terry to dominate. I'd love him to take over all of Los Angeles. There's so much to his character. He's got so many great qualities that it would be tough to see him lose or be defeated. Or how does Terry get defeated? However he loses, like, I know he's got to lose somehow. It just seems to be how they're setting things up. But I hope it doesn't diminish his character at all. Like, I hope it's for, he still gets to be super smart. He still gets to be, cunning, all that kind of stuff. But somehow he still loses. I don't know. I hope he doesn't die. I really don't want him to die. I would, if he's going to kind of exit, if his arc or whatever is going to be over in season 5, I hope he kind of exits and he's not a good guy. Like, I hope he doesn't get redeemed.
Right. Me too.
Yeah. And I hope that he's still out there lurking where he could make a return someday, whether they want to do that or not. I feel like Terry Silver is a character, kind of like in the entire Miyagi-verse so far within Cobra Kai, he was out there lurking somewhere doing something. And that was interesting, because he could come back someday. So I don't know. I hope they don't change his character, because I see a lot of potential for him in perhaps spin-off series and things like that too. So
sure. And I would say too, if I'm saying Kreese is going to kind of redeem himself, that's probably something I wouldn't have wanted if you asked me around season 2. Right. But about this point now, they've totally earned it. Like they've built him up enough to make that change. And now that he's been screwed over by Terry, like it's all in the cards for him.
Right. And, a lot of people bring up this idea of redemption arcs. Like I see that in a lot of conversations about television and, serialized television, everything like that. Now let's be clear. So for Kreese, though, to be redeemed, it doesn't mean he needs to be like this full on good guy, right? It basically just means he needs to sort of atone for some of the things he did wrong in the past, but he could still be the same character in essence. He's just kind of maybe changed a little bit, softened a little bit, gotten a bit more sympathetic.
Yeah, but just some expression of humanity, which I think it's not like we haven't seen that from him already too. So, I mean, the same best friend that I watched Karate Kid 3 with growing up, in the new season that came out, this would have been season 3. We were joking, Kreese is obviously the good guy of the show. Like Tori's being harassed by some creep at her apartment and he's trying to help out. Like the LaRussos need to leave that guy alone. Like he's a local hero. But that played into Kreese's hand eventually later, obviously.
Yes, indeed. Now, Governor says Kreese may consider that he's partly to blame for Terry's actions. Terry in Karate Kid 3 would do anything for Kreese, but has finally had enough of Kreese having his hold over him and how Kreese abused it. Yeah, that's a great comment. Thank you, Governor. What do you think, Dave?
I mean, sure. That's a really good point. I would say, though, I don't know if I want to see Kreese taking any of the blame for any of the craziness, because to me, Kreese is more of like he's just like raw Cobra Kai. Like he's just running around like this angry energy Cobra Kai guy. So I don't know if he's going to think that deep about it, but I'm pretty sure he's going to give it back to Terry, though, when Terry called him his weakness.
Right.
Kreese is going to be telling Terry, you're the weak one or you're the weakness. So
right. Emu Billy says he's going to get honked. And I think maybe Terry's going to get honked by Kreese.
Has that not happened on the show yet?
It's only happened with Chosen and Daniel.
Okay. They did it when they were training.
Right. Okay. Chosen did it back to Daniel.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Then that's a good call. I like that. Yeah.
Interesting. Talking Star Wars says, I defiantly think we're going to learn more about that dragon technique. Perhaps Anthony do it. It's interesting. A lot of people are predicting Anthony will jump in and become very active in Cobra Kai. What do you think? Will Anthony continue to have a bigger part?
I think he should. I mean, that was a nice expansion in the previous season. So anything that expands upon the characters, I'm really for. Because it's a tough game they have. They've written so many characters, and to get them all into a 30-minute episode is almost impossible. And the second they cut out characters, people started feeling it. So I'm more for beefing up the characters than saying, hey, we had to scoot this person off to the side.
Right. Indeed. Daniel says, Mr. Silver is so great and interesting that they could make a spinoff show about his life. Yeah, I have all these ideas, but you got to agree about the immense potential lore-wise here. And Dave, I don't know if I told you this, but like therapeutically, just for my own self, I outlined a Terry Silver series, and
okay, I don't think you told me this. So
okay,
you better start dropping some details right now.
Okay, well, I'll tell you maybe some other time, but I got to keep it. Just
this sounds like this channel's a conspiracy again, and that you're paid by Terry Silver. But okay.
Hey, and I'm not saying my idea for a Terry Silver series would make him look amazing and kind of extol all his virtues and greatness and would make the world Terry Silver fans. But, that could be. And, it's not paid for at all by Terry Silver. Let's see what else. RJ say, hey, Ken, how's it going? How you doing, RJ? Do you think that Silver visits Kreese in jail? Yeah, there was another comment about this too. And Dave, you were saying that you think absolutely Silver will visit Kreese in jail.
I hope so. I think that'd just be a fun scene to see them talking on the phone thing through the glass, and a lot of intimidation, a lot of hard-edged conversation going on.
Right. Yeah. And I agree. I did a video called What Terry Silver Wants. Okay. And in that video, that was based on the Karate Kid 3 version of the character. And in that video, I kind of made the point that Terry Silver, he enjoys having control over every situation. And so I think if we've got classic Terry back right now, he would delight and enjoy visiting John Kreese in prison, just to see him there, see that, he's a mouse in a cage, and just kind of toy with him. I think that would be totally in line with Terry's character. And I agree. I think that would be a lot of fun. Terry would have a lot of fun watching Kreese squirm in prison.
Yeah, that's a good point, because he is full unleashed Terry now, and he wasn't for all of season 4. So yeah, we would want to see him kind of soaking it all in, his madness.
Yes. Peter says, Ken, can I play Master Kim in your film? Interesting that you bring that up. Sure, absolutely. Yeah, you can. But it's kind of interesting because I did all that. I did my outline well before, we actually saw Terry Silver again in season 4. So it's interesting, kind of the parallels of what's happening. That was kind of alluded to in my outline, which I'll share with you, Dave, at some point. Let's see. Hassan says, what if at the end of the season, after defeating Silver and Chosen, taking over Cobra Kai dojos, he reveals his old grudge against Daniel and becomes the next antagonist? Interesting. That's interesting. And is that Chosen taking over?
I think that's what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I mean, it's an interesting point. Obviously, he has a lot of experience. Chosen has a lot of experience teaching. He taught for the most successful Okinawan dojo, his Sato's dojo. I assume he's still teaching there when he says he's teaching. He's definitely. What do you think about Chosen's dark side, Dave? Like, obviously, Chosen used to have a dark side. I mean, we can't deny that. We can't just wipe it away.
Right. I feel like I don't want to hold it against him because he was like a young kid, and there's such a gap in time that we don't know about him post Karate Kid 2.
Right.
That I really did believe that by the time we saw him again, he had changed a lot, and that he looked back at that time as I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. So. Do you think Chosen has maybe some special insights into bullying and why people bully and why people do that could help Daniel?
Probably. And I'm sure, we get some of that knowledge from Johnny as well. So that makes all three of them together probably the best team to bet on.
Yes. And Talking Star Wars sent another super chat. Thank you. I am sorry if I missed that. Super chats are amazing. Talking Star Wars, thank you so much. They really help support the channel. If you're able to, and you're able to help support the stream through a super chat, that would be great and help us pay the bills. Let's see. Gosh, so many great comments. Thank you, guys.
So you're saying that Terry Silver doesn't pay you enough. That's what you're saying.
Oh, I am saying that in no way does Terry Silver financially support me or the opinions I have, in no way. And that I appreciate everyone contributing, to help pay the bills. And that helps to keep this impartial. There's no way Terry Silver has anything to do with this stream, right? And he's not, and Dave, he hasn't reached out to you, has he?
No, absolutely not. And in no particular way.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. And if you guys are curious about anything we're talking about, check out Cobra Cole. That's the short we worked on. I think you'll enjoy it. And that stars David Shatraw as Tom Cole from the Cobra Kai series. Justin says, I want flashbacks of young Terry Silver being bullied before joining the military because his nickname was Twig and was fearful in the military. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, what was Terry like as a kid? Like, what was that home life like with his father?
It's almost like he has a little bit of a small man complex, maybe, that he was beat down so many times and considered the weakling so many times that his inner Terry rage took over and created the whole other Terry Silver.
Right. Exactly. Now, Peter from Cobra Kai Companion podcast, everyone check out Cobra Kai Companion. Peter says Terry Silver compensates Ken in other ways. And, you know, I don't know what that means. You know, sometimes I think it's a good thing if someone offers to get you a car. If you need a car and someone offers you a car, I think that's fine. And you don't even have to own the car. They don't have to buy it to you, but even lending it. I mean, that's not going to change my opinion on anything. No. You know, if I get to drive around in like a Rolls Royce for 2 weeks, I mean, that's not going to change. That's not going to sway me at all. Okay, so Mr. Fish says maybe Terry Silver was talking to Stingray in the sauna. Now, Dave, you're a Stingray fan.
Big Stingray fan. Huge Stingray fan, actually.
So let's talk about Stingray and Terry Silver. That's something we have not seen any hints of in the trailer. We don't know what Stingray's role is going forward. He obviously made this deal kind of against his will to be beat up to almost dying. To be a part of Cobra Kai. What do you think Stingray's role is going to be going forward?
Well, I think, you know, we see that Stingray is pretty much down to do whatever he can do to be part of the cool crowd. That's kind of his thing. So him helping Terry is just matching that. So I think his role is going to be either Daniel or Johnny or somebody is going to get to Stingray and turn him. And that's going to be the big flip, is them flipping Stingray, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. So you're saying Stingray is going to be a pivotal character going forward?
I believe so. I think you don't put him in that position to just have him disappear, because all season we're going to be asking, well, what happened to Stingray? He got beat up and he just let it be. Clearly, they're not going to give him the respect that he probably wants because he is Stingray, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be the foil for the whole thing. And that's maybe Terry Silver's biggest mistake, was trusting anything to Stingray.
Fascinating. I can't wait to see what happens. Now, Dave, Angela has a question for you. Dave, what's your favorite job about filmmaking and directing? And have you filmed fight scenes?
Good question. Honestly, and maybe it's a corny answer, my favorite thing about filmmaking is working with my friends and being creative with a group. You know, you can sit and write all you want and edit all you want by yourself, but it can get pretty monotonous. Mm-hmm. But when you're with people who have the same creative ideas as you, it's a lot of fun. As it was shooting Cobra Cole with you, you know, we were making a movie about Terry Silver and Cobra Kai, and it was just fun to do that for the day. So honestly, it's as a kind of an antisocial person, as maybe creative people can be sometimes, it actually is enjoying it with your friends. That's the highlight of filmmaking.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, have I filmed fight scenes? Only very, very small ones, because they're difficult to pull off without good stunt people. And I kind of, since I don't have a lot of money, I always have a rule of, if you can't pull it off, just don't do it. So small fight scenes.
Yeah, those are really great points. I want to echo what you said, especially about Cobra Cole and working with you and with David and with Tiffany and Rich and Amber on the side too. And then also Jay and Rachel with the music. It's my favorite part is it's like getting together with such talented people. Dave, you know, David Shatraw, Tiffany, you know, all these people who are just so good. and you all come together and you just make something new that it wouldn't be the same if not everyone was involved in that. And so that was what was a lot of fun about Cobra Cole. So yeah, totally agree with you. Everyone check out Cobra Cole. Links in the description if you like Terry Silver and Tom Cole from Cobra Kai and wondered if they're connected, maybe through Willie Cole from Karate Kid 3. Justin says, if Terry Silver goes to prison, I'd like to see Trey and Kreese as his henchmen and a couple or a few prison staff on his payroll. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. That would be kind of an interesting end for Terry, you could say, would be him going to prison, because that's a fate he has skirted, many times before. He bribed his way in Karate Kid 3, getting out of prison so many times. He was destroying the environment with, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say destroying the environment. He was in his own way trying to make the environment cleaner, and some thought he was doing something bad.
Again,
yeah.
A little conspiracy like there, that correction, it just really felt like you did not want to say anything bad about Dynatox.
Well, I mean, can we though? Like, we don't know what really happened.
You know what? I stand corrected. You're right. We really can't. We don't know. So
there we go. Yeah, there we go. It's all right, Dave. See, you keep answering like that, you'll get to drive around some Rolls Royces too. Emu Billy says, I can't wait for the Chosen versus Silver fight. Yeah. That's, I think, yes, I think so. Hassan says, what if Cobra Kai CCTV footage reveals that Terry was the one who beat Stingray, and because of this, his empire will fall? It does seem like that is a pivotal moment, and if that gets out, attempted homicide, that could be a big problem for Terry Silver.
That's true. Wasn't there something in season 5 of Terry Silver watching footage? Like, wasn't he looking at security footage on his laptop at home? What was he watching?
He had his camera set up. He was watching for Johnny coming in.
Johnny, right.
Yeah. Or he got an alert. Maybe a system gave an alert when someone entered the dojo, but he had the camera set up. And so maybe they're setting up the idea that there was security footage. But see, I'd be upset if that were the case, because Terry should be smarter than that.
Me too.
But he was drunk. But he should be able to go back and delete it.
That's why I guess I brought that up, was I was thinking maybe Terry's already on the security footage game. We've already seen him. He's got it handled. Yeah,
exactly. And CW Styles says Dimitri hacks the cameras and takes down Cobra Kai. So yeah, it's the idea that maybe they can get into the system to find out exactly what happened. But the thing is, they would have to. It would seem like so long after the fact, that Terry would really have to drop the ball. I think
he would have, that would be weeks of time of him not saying, hey, what about any security footage?
Right. If Angela says, if Terry Silver ever had superpowers, he'd become Homelander from The Boys. Cool. And I'll be honest, I have not checked out that series yet. I know it's on season 3 right now, and everyone loves it. They say it's like one of the best superhero things of all time. Have you seen The Boys, Dave?
I've not seen season 3 yet, but Carl Urban is fantastic. And last time we spoke, I'll recommend, if nobody's seen Dread with Carl Urban, please check it out. It's a fantastic action movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know you were talking about Dread. I'll have to check that out based on your strong recommendation. Talking Star Wars at Ken Cole, is Dynatox still around? Well, I certainly think so. I may or may not have been producing Dynatox propaganda. He's Terry Silver. He's a smart guy. He has many ventures, and Dynatox was one of his ventures. So, in some form, in the series, they haven't revealed exactly what's happened with Dynatox. Maybe it went through a name change. Who knows? I hope not, because Dynatox is an amazing name. But I bet it's around in some form, even if Terry Silver's not physically running it personally himself anymore. Peter from Cobra Kai Companion says, everything is deliberate on Cobra Kai. Expect the footage to come back.
Yep.
It's possible. I just hope they do it in a way that doesn't make Terry Silver look like a whoops. Like that was a silly stupid thing for a very highly intelligent person to
Same.
miss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Marianella, good to see you. Terry Silver's very intelligent. I think he would have destroyed all the evidence of the Stingray beating. Yeah, I would too. That would be, and Peter backs you up on Dread, Dave.
Oh yes.
This is great, guys. Love your comments. Cinema Fan says, I think Terry Silver probably deleted the surveillance footage, but I think it's possible that the other businesses in the area have outside camera footage, so that could be how his guilt is exposed. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess that's the wild card in that scenario is Terry Silver was not sober. So it is possible that he messed up somewhere that he couldn't remember how he messed up. But I don't know. The guy is so good at evading the law that you would think he would understand everything that could incriminate him and go after it. But
I would think so. And that in terms of him keeping Stingray quiet, it's his confidence in his powers over people that he's not worried about that, maybe.
Right. And Johnny Utah, how you doing, Johnny? The cops are too lazy to investigate the Stingray incident any further. And that could be the case too. Now, Dave, in Karate Kid 3, it was almost implied. Remember when Daniel went to the cops and he showed them the piece of paper, they laughed at him, and like, oh, we'll look into it. And I thought that was maybe a subtle implication that the cops were paid off. That Terry Silver basically had the cops in his pocket. It looks like he had the DA in his pocket. Do you think that Terry Silver could exert control over the cops from that perspective?
In Karate Kid 3, absolutely. In Cobra Kai, they haven't shown it yet, but maybe that's an avenue that we're going to get to explore in season 5 is that, yes, we've seen that he knows to bribe the DA that his wife likes poached salmon or whatever it was. And right. I would think that he still has those connects and that he still knows how to play that game very well.
Right. Interesting. Leo, I'll ask this to you, Dave. Would you be terrified if you met someone like Terry Silver in real life?
Well, we did meet Terry Silver in real life, but oh, right.
No, but you mean Thomas Ian Griffith?
Yes.
We
did.
Yes. Thank you, Peter, by the way, for hooking that up. That was
absolutely,
that was great. I mean, so what did you think of Thomas Ian Griffith? Because we haven't been able to talk since that time. In fact, hang on a second. Let's just do
KenCast, Thomas Ian Griffith.
All right, that one got me off guard.
So basically, Thomas Ian Griffith, we got to meet him at Paley Fest. What did you think of him in person?
Oh, he seemed so nice and so just happy to be there. And, again, thank you to Peter who invited us there to film with him. But even watching him talk to Peter, he was so kind and gracious and just all about being there and part of the community. And I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better, honestly.
Yes, I know. I agree. And it's just so disarming. Amazingly, just a great, nice interaction. He had seen like some of this content and I was just blown away. He's just very, very cool guy, very gracious guy. And it's kind of cool to see that after admiring him for so many years, on the screen, that in person, he's a really great guy too. Right. Strife the Warrior, how you doing, Strife? Blink twice if Terry Silver's forcing you to say good things about him, Ken. Well, Strife,
no blinking.
I don't know what you're talking about at all. Yeah.
See,
so
we're exposing some things today, Ken.
Yeah. Maybe so. Ethan says maybe Stingray would defend Silver if he got caught because Silver made him Cobra Kai. That could be. I mean, what is that? I know it's maybe not quite. They talk about what is it, Stockholm syndrome or something like that, where
right.
You become bonded with the person who's like abusing you or something like that. Like, even though you should rebel against them, you feel like you have this bond and that you have to be loyal to them. Again, I'm not a psychologist. I don't know if that's what it is, but like, I don't know. Could there be that kind of thing where Stingray might have undying loyalty for Terry Silver?
I think that's where we're headed. And I guess what we were debating earlier is what is going to be the thing that flips the card the other way. And maybe he never does. Maybe it is the security footage or something else.
Right. Exactly. Peter from Cobra Kai Companion, who basically set up the opportunity for us to meet Thomas Ian Griffith, says, if we get another chance, I'll extend the invite to you guys again. Again, Peter, that's super nice, and really appreciate that. And if anyone here is a fan of Cobra Kai, if you've not listened to the Cobra Kai Companion podcast, definitely check out the Cobra Kai Companion podcast. Peter runs that. Just so much great content and so many interviews with everyone involved with the show. It's pretty amazing, the interviews that Peter gets.
He's also a genuine nice guy.
He really is. Really nice guy. Really, really great to work with. He was a lot of fun to work with at Pele Fest. So
absolutely.
Let's see. Yeah, Aaron says Stockholm Syndrome. Yes. And then Strife the Warrior says everyone's to the Cobra Kai Companion podcast. Indeed. And guys, Strife the Warrior, he makes appearances on KenCast too. Go to his channel, his YouTube channel, Strife the Warrior. He has great analysis. I'm sure he's going to have tons of analysis on what he thinks is going to happen with season 5 of Cobra Kai. So Dave, we've had so many great comments from everyone about what's going to happen in season 5. If we could wrap it up as far as Terry Silver and get your thoughts on kind of like your overall predictions, like this is what Dave is going to predict will happen. What would be the takeaway from anyone watching this stream of what you would predict for season 5?
In a nutshell, I'm saying Terry Silver will fall, whatever way that means. And it will be at the final blow will be driven by John Kreese. Maybe Johnny, Daniel, everybody else is, obviously pushing towards all the bad guys and everything, building up to it. But when it comes down to it, I'm saying Kreese is dealing the final blow to Terry Silver.
Yes, I think that's a very good, fair, and reasoned and expert prediction of what can happen in season 5. I'm wondering if there's an outside shot that maybe Terry's arc, if that's what you want to call it, maybe won't wrap up with season 5. That maybe he will continue to be sort of the big bad for the series. I'm wondering if, the introduction of someone like Kim Da-eun, who might be a master herself, if she's allied with Terry Silver, I'm wondering if that could be kind of an unstoppable force and the engine that might drive the rest of the series, however long it's going to go, because then the series kind of becomes, how can Johnny and Kreese reclaim Cobra Kai? Because at this point, if we're sympathetic towards Johnny, if we're sympathetic towards Kreese, then we would want them to reclaim the Cobra Kai dojo again. And if they do that by the end of season 5, I don't know, you'd have to introduce kind of like a new conflict, something going on with Cobra Kai, because I think the Daniel Johnny conflict, I think it's kind of played out. I'd kind of like to see them work together more now. Like, I don't know if they can go back to the Daniel Johnny rivalry at this point. It'd be kind of anticlimactic if that's like the main thing that drives the show.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm kind of wondering, or do you think it's possible that Kim Da-eun is so good, as a fighter, that she maybe trained under Master Kim Sung-young, that she is maybe as better than Terry in his prime, and she might take over the Cobra Kai dojo, or she could become the big bad of the series, even to the point where Terry, even though he doesn't become good, is kind of like trying to figure out what's going on. Like he basically opened Pandora's box in a way, and he can't control the situation anymore.
What about this? If that happens, what you just
Sure.
said, is there any of the students that are going to become big bad guys for season 6 then? Are there any students that aren't going to get redeemed and stay bad guys all the way through to the end?
Do you mean like maybe, and I assume under the Cobra Kai dojo?
Yeah. Whether it be, we assume Tori's going to get redeemed, right? They've been building up for the friendship to kind of build there. So is there anybody in that camp that we see not helping the good guys at the end of the show? I guess I'm saying that because it makes me say you're right. Like, you kind of need Terry to continue on as some kind of presence, or put him in prison for half a season and give us Terry Silver Oz edition for a little bit. And...
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, okay. So what you're saying brings up an interesting point. We now have more franchise, we have this entire Cobra Kai franchise. We have more locations in this franchise. We're going to have a lot of new students come in, new characters perhaps that could be really good, I guess, that we don't have a strong connection with. And I'm wondering if at some point everyone that we at least care about, like all these characters we care about, might filter out of Cobra Kai in a bit, because I think Robbie's not going to be part of Cobra Kai. Kenny obviously is pretty hardcore into Cobra Kai. You would think he's we see him first, he's a good guy. So we think that probably at the end of the series, he's not going to be allied with like the bad element.
Right.
So maybe everyone who's in the bad dojo will be sort of these new characters that come in that we haven't really bonded with before. I don't know. Here, I'll throw this at you too. Just guys, I'm just stream of consciousness here. Let me know what you think. Mike Barnes. If they're bringing Mike Barnes back, and if he's like a tease at the end of the season, I would think that means Terry would have to stick around, because there's so much story that's unresolved between Mike Barnes and Terry Silver that I don't know if it would be satisfying if, say, Mike Barnes pops in briefly and then Terry's gone. Like, it seems like there would be stuff that would have to be resolved, like a conflict or something, where they'd have some kind of relationship. But then again, I don't know. They could bring Mike Barnes in on episode 6 and, Terry Silver could be done by 10.
I think, though, you brought up an interesting point in one of your videos a long time ago, though, is Mike Barnes not going to trust Terry Silver, even if he aligns with him, because he probably never got paid for all the work he did back in the 90s.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's very possible that if Mike Barnes comes back, he's not necessarily an ally of Terry Silver. Maybe Terry would want him to come back and be willing to pay him. But guys, I don't think that ended well. I don't think Terry would be very happy with Mike Barnes, given what happened at the end of Karate Kid 3. And Terry would be the type of personality who would probably blame other people, including Mike Barnes, for the failure. I mean, come on, from Terry's perspective, all he had to do was get that point. That's all he had to do. Right. And he got distracted by Kata, and I'm sure Terry saw that as just an absolute failure. And I'm sure he lost all respect for Mike Barnes. From
Mike Barnes' perspective, why didn't I just attack him right out the gate and win the match right away?
Right. And not go along with Terry's plan, you mean?
Yeah. Of making him suffer and suffer and suffer some more.
Right. And that's a great thing. And I've tried to go from Mike Barnes's perspective that he just did so much great work. He did everything perfectly. He did everything that Terry Silver asked, even though it would put him in personal and legal jeopardy. He did it. And then Terry just takes it too far, and really puts the championship at risk with his crazy scheme. And, Mike Barnes lost. And that's the other thing too, from Mike Barnes's perspective, he was cited for unsportsmanlike conduct. And this is a person who kind of made his career based on tournament wins. So I have to think that whole event harmed his career too. Not only didn't he get paid by Terry Silver, but, I guess he's karate's bad boy, but at the same time, I'm sure that negatively impacted his career.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There was certainly a falling out at some point.
Right. So I'd be interested to see what the interaction between those two characters would be going forward. That's for sure. Well, Dave, thank you guys for all your great comments. It was great talking with you, Dave. And then for everyone who's just joining now that we'll go back later and watch this at the beginning, I want to point out that Dave is a really great filmmaker, and everyone should check out mamaoutabullets.com. That's in the description. And also check out, if you're a Cobra Kai fan and want to see some of Dave's work, he was director of photography, cinematographer for Cobra Cole, which you might have seen. And if you haven't seen, that's also in the description. If you're a Tom Cole, Terry Silver fan, you should check that out. And Dave, thank you for joining us today and sharing your wisdom and experience of Terry Silver. And
thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And we would love to have you back again in the future. Absolutely. Very good. And do you have any kind of parting thoughts for everyone watching the stream right now?
I like where everybody's heads are at on what season 5 is going to be. I feel like we got a lot of interesting thoughts going in my head after today, where maybe I'm so streamlined on thinking Terry all the time that it's good to hear some other perspectives.
Indeed. And thank you guys for all your great comments. I know we got so many, we weren't able to get to all of them, but we will be doing these types of discussions again. So we'll hopefully be able to review all of these ideas that you guys have, maybe in the context of new trailers, new images, that type of thing that I'm sure will be released here in the next month or so. Everyone, thank you for watching today. If you're watching on replay, thanks for watching. Dave, thank you. And I look forward to seeing everyone again next week on KenCast. Thank you guys. Have a good day.